Hello friends, are you wondering what is the cost of taxi for Leh Ladakh road trip? Or are you thinking if the taxi rates in Leh Ladakh are fixed per day or do they depend upon per kilometer run of the taxi? Well, the rates of taxis in Ladakh are based on the sightseeing places you want to travel on your trip. All the taxi rates consider Leh as the source destination and then vary depending upon which destination you choose to travel to. In the last video of the taxi series, I talked about two topics. First, where to hire the taxi in Leh, and the other one, I shared my recommended approach of how to book a taxi in Ladakh trip. Today in this Express FAQ series on traveling to Ladakh, I'm going to talk about what is the cost of a taxi for a Leh Ladakh road trip. And this cost will cover all the most common sightseeing places in Ladakh. So let's get started. First of all, let me tell you that if you are new to traveling to Ladakh and watching this video, well, my friend, you are about to get a bit of a shock with these prices. But don't worry, we all got through this, so will you. Well, to be frank and upfront, the taxi fares in Leh Ladakh are a bit on a higher side if you compare with taxis of other parts of India. However, there is a reason for it. The tourist season in Ladakh is limited to 4-5 months only. The terrain is very difficult and extreme. It is high altitude and the road conditions are poor at many places. All this requires a high maintenance of the vehicles, and above all these taxis are mostly SUVs as the terrain demands for it. Hence, the prices of taxis in Ladakh are a bit on a higher side when compared to other places in India. However, if you are a group of 4-5 people, it definitely feels reasonable. But again, if you are single family and paying for the taxi in Ladakh, it will be a major portion of your budget for the whole Ladakh trip. Now enough of scaring you, let's get back to the topic. So friends, like I already said, the taxi rates in Ladakh depend upon the places you wish to cover on your Ladakh trip. For example, the rate of 2-day trip to Nubra Valley will be different from what you will end up paying for a 2-day trip to Pangong Tso. Also, the taxi rates are a bit different among the different class of vehicles. For example, Mahindra XUVs and Toyota Innova or Tata Ariya are on the highest end of the spectrum, while Mahindra Scorpio and Xylo are in the middle tier. The lowest tier belongs to vans like Maruti Versa. The rates of Tempo Traveler are 35% higher than the top tier of the taxis. These rates are published and regulated by Ladakh Taxi Union and the drivers stick to them. So one thing is sure, that no one will be able to scam you with the prices or charge you with unregulated taxi prices. And if you are a tourist and have been to Manali, you may resonate it well enough that what I am trying to say with unregulated prices. Please note that the local taxi drivers can give you 10 to 15% discount out of their pocket if you get in touch directly with them. But how do you get directly in touch with them? Well, check my last video, or I have also dropped a link to the Ladakh taxi driver list in the description of this video. Now, as the rates are per destination, it can become very cryptic sometimes to read the Ladakh Taxi Union rate guide. So let us check out together what are the taxi rates of some important sightseeing places in Ladakh, including Nubra Valley, Pangong Tso and Tso Moriri. I will also cover the rates of Manali Leh Highway and Srinagar Leh Highway journeys too. One thing to note is that these rates are as per Taxi Union rates of 2020. Always check the description of this video down below so as to get the latest taxi rates prices. I will always keep the updated link over there. Now finally, here are the taxi prices of Ladakh for various sightseeing places. This table will quickly give you an idea of what the total cost of your Ladakh trip will be. As you see in this table, a 2-day trip from Srinagar to Leh drop will cost you about Rs 20,240 for an XUV or Innova. And if you are interested in a Tempo Traveler, then the trip will cost you about 23,001 rupee. Please note, as I said before, the Tempo Traveler rates are 35% higher than the top tier. So I will not repeat these charges and you can easily estimate accordingly. For local sightseeing in Leh, you can consider about Rs 2,500 to 3,000 and a drop or a pickup from airport to Leh will cost you about Rs 500. Now, if you want to cover Nubra Valley in 2 days with Diskit and Kundar, you need to pay Rs 10,734. But if you add Sumur and Panamik too, then you pay Rs 12,784. And if you are in a rush and you plan to cover the Nubra Valley in a single day, then it will cost you about rupees 8,858. Well, nowadays most of the people club the journey to Nubra Valley and Pangong Tso together in 3 days, and such a trip will cost you about 20,373 rupees. But if you plan to do a separate 2-day trip to Pangong Tso from Leh, then you end up paying rupees 11,331, while a single day trip to Pangong Tso costs rupees 9,518. And finally, if you go for a 2-day trip to Tso Moriri Lake, then you end up paying rupees 12,978 via Chumathang route, while if you cover the Sokar Lake and Tangangla Pass as well, then you end up paying rupees 15,711 rupees. However, many people who are traveling by road club the trip to Tso Moriri while exiting from Manali Leh Highway, and if you do so, you end up paying rupees 31,362 all the way to Manali over 3 days. But if you do not include Tso Moriri Lake on the way back to Manali from Leh, then you end up paying rupees 23,747 for a 2-day trip from Leh to Manali. So these were the taxi rates for some of the most common sightseeing places in Ladakh. In order to get the complete idea of taxi cost for your Leh Ladakh road trip, you can refer the link of latest taxi rates in the description of this video. Hence, you can calculate easily now that if you travel to Ladakh by air, then the final taxi cost of Ladakh trip comes around rupees 24,000 to 25,000, which includes Leh local sightseeing, Nubra Valley and Pangong Tso. But if you club Tso Moriri Lake as well, then you end up paying around 40,000 overall for the taxi in Ladakh. On the other hand, if you are traveling from Srinagar to Leh, then doing sightseeing in Ladakh including all 3 places like Nubra Valley, Pangong Tso and Tso Moriri, and then exiting via Manali Leh Highway, you are looking to pay about 68,000 to 70,000 bucks for the whole Ladakh trip. And these are the rates as per 2020 rate card. Shocking, right? But I did warn you upfront. Well, it was shocking to me as well when I did my first trip in 2010. But since then I have also got used to, and so will you. And like I said, you can easily get a 10 to 15% discount by getting in touch with the local Ladakhi taxi driver using the link that I have shared in the description of this video. Again guys, you can see that I have shared the taxi rates of most common sightseeing places in Ladakh. The itineraries and the tour plans of different people are different. If you are following a different route or other remote places in Ladakh, then it is better to check the link in the description of this video or leave a comment down below and I'll be happy to assist you. So this was all about taxi prices in Ladakh. In my next video of the series, I'll talk about some tips that you can follow for a cheap taxi of Leh Ladakh road trip so that you can save some money. Now in the end, if you found this video helpful, please do not forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And in case if you need any help or have any questions on your upcoming trip to the Himalayas, please feel free to leave a comment down below and I'll be more than happy to help you out right away. Till then my friends, Jule, and please keep our Himalayas clean.